Hey, welcome to another edition of BJB Today. Tim Kruger. Happy Monday to everybody. Grab a cup of coffee here, and we'll discuss some Blue Jay happenings throughout the weekend and going into this week. And another beautiful day out there here in Omaha. Just the weather's been incredible. First, we want to thank Infusion Brewing Company for being our sponsor here. Check everything out at fusionbrewing.com. They got all the fall beers up there, and with this great weather, it's a great time to get out there and sit on their patio and enjoy a nice cold beer, and also, on the weekends, go in there and watch some football. So check them all out at fusionbrewing.com. Also, you may notice this new swanky Jays hat I have, and that is courtesy of RTI Threads, someone who is, we've had a relationship over the years. We're finalizing a relationship with them for the upcoming season here, not only on Blue Jay Banner Today, but on our post-game show. So more to come, but we're really, really excited to have this partnership with RTI Threads, supplier of Creighton merchandise, and we're going to get some new swanky Blue Jay Banner gear from them as well. So, and there'll be Blue Jay Banner gear available to all our listeners as well. So we want to thank them for their loyalty and sponsorship, and thank them for the cap. I love it. Another great weekend of Creighton sports. Wow. Undefeated this weekend. Let's start off with the kind of the headline, I think. Men's soccer defeated DePaul 2-0 and now go 2-0 in league play. So off to a great start in league play. I know Johnny's very excited, talking to him last week. Very excited about the team, very excited about the start they've had in conference play, and momentum's kind of building with this soccer team. So great chance to get behind this team. Big match coming up later on this week, Friday at UConn. It's going to be at Stores, 6 p.m. on Friday, the next time the men's team will hit the pitch. Women's soccer had a 1-1 tie over the weekend. They are now 1-1-1 in league play, and they will have a little different midweek home game, conference home game against Xavier. So over at Morrison Stadium at 7 p.m. So it should be another beautiful night. We've just had unbelievable evenings here lately. So go out and check them out. 7 p.m. They take on Xavier. Volleyball team, as we talked about last week, we're going to get into conference play here, and they're going to start rolling as they usually do in the conference season. And rolled over Butler and Xavier over the weekend. No surprise there. All in straight sets. And now this sets up a big match on Thursday, nationally televised match on FS1. Jays will go to Marquette. Generally speaking, year in, year out, the toughest competition they face in the Big East, so this will be a tough competition for them. And they'll take on Marquette at 6 p.m., that game on FS1, and as we said, it's at Marquette. So big chance for the Jays to get a leg up on Marquette early on here in the conference season, and then just work their way through the schedule and roll on into the postseason. So congrats to Brian Rosen and his team for getting off to such a great start here on the weekend. A couple things. Thanks for watching on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Make sure you share this with your friends. I know there's a lot of Jays fans that know of Blue Jay Banner but don't know everything that we're doing now, especially some folks from a while back still always think that we're still on the radio. So check them all out. Go to our YouTube page. You can get all of our Blue Jay Banner Today segments and programs all there for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. It helps us out so much. But check out all our product at the YouTube page, Blue Jay Banter. Just before we go any further, just our hearts go out to Matt Versdahl's family and very close friends. Matt was always a friend of Blue Jay Banner. He still did some radio work at 1620 when we were on there. He was just the nicest guy. this big, huge tight end that played very successfully for Nebraska. And he was just, so he basically was the Husker football, right? And but yet he was always interested in what we were doing. We'd walk in the studio if he was in there for unsportsmanlike conduct or whatever. There was always this big boom and, hey, TK, what's going on? And he just was the nicest guy. So giving too, at Pison's Pizza, he would help anybody with a fundraiser of any kind. He will be greatly missed. Tragically passed away way too early. And we're going to miss Matt a lot. And again, condolences to everyone who was close to him. We, last week, just to recap what we did last week, we kind of had some discussions about the makeup of the team. We went to some practices, opening of women's practice and men's practice. Let me talk a little bit about the women, because I don't think we touched on it very much last week. But a much different look this year. And boy, as Flan said, it's nice that I'm older now because I'll have more patience. For those of you who know Flan well, you know nothing can be truer than that. But Flan lost a ton of talented, experienced players off last year's team. He has 3 seniors. One of them is a transfer from Northern Iowa, and then 2 sophomores, and everybody else is a freshman. So it was extremely young team, but a very good recruiting class that he's brought in. So he's got a lot of talent. It's going to take some time. I was there for the first practice, and they're just going over elementary things like running their stuff, and their 2 seniors are kind of trying to show everybody how and what's going on. And I know Flan was just like, hey, they're making maybe not setting the screen exactly like he wanted. He's like, hey, that's okay that you rolled there, but do this. And so a lot of teaching going to happen. And during the press conference, I asked him about his non-conference schedule, because generally it's fairly competitive, and this year he's like, yeah, we set it up to kind of get off to a good start here and work our way into things, because we just don't have very much experience. So it's going to take some time. So, but Flan is really excited about the team, and so are all the assistant coaches. So it should be a fun season for women's hoops. Flan, I think would like to schedule a little tougher, but he just couldn't this year because of the experience. So, and the Big East is, getting to be very competitive beyond UConn, competitive basketball league. So, best of luck to Flan as they get rolling here in practice. And we're still a ways out from the actual games, but we're closing in on a month now on both men's and women's. We also said we went to men's. AJ and I went to the men's practice the other day. We're going to have more discussion, AJ and I, later this week. So I think you'll want to watch these shows on Wednesday and Thursday. AJ and I will be discussing a lot of what's going on with roster construction. I think that's like the biggest point of discussion right now. I mean, obviously, first you start in the middle with Owen Freeman, because you're replacing Kalkbrenner, and you're not going to just pull somebody off the street and replace Kalkbrenner. Not that Owen's coming off the street; he was a very accomplished player at Iowa, but you're not going to replace Kalkbrenner easily. Okay, he's just not replaceable. But you have to have somebody. Maybe a different style, and Owen brings that to the table, and a very good player. But, of course, with his injury, he's been out for months now. Everybody's kind of waiting to see how that entails. He's way ahead of schedule, but Coach Mack and the staff is not going to rush it. If it was up to Owen, he'd be on the practice floor tomorrow. But they're not going to rush it. They're going to take their time. So beyond that, who would, fit in? And I think Karen's probably slightly ahead of Alexa now at the post, but it's a really close battle. Alexa brings a lot of size. I mean, he's 7'1", and as both AJ and I said the other day, his one-on-one workouts against Jeff Grizel, he looked pretty impressive. So it'll be interesting there. But I think beyond that, the other question is, who's going to be the true point guard? And again, we're going to play more people than we have in the past because we have that depth. But The question kind of comes down to Graves, Ty Davis, or Josh Dix to run the point. I think Josh Dix is going to be in the starting lineup one way or the other. So if he does not play the quote-unquote point guard position, and you move, say, Nick Graves into there, who's coming on, who I think of the newer guys seems to me to be the guy that's progressing quickest. You do that, then you're going to have Josh Dix at the 2. Then you've got a squeeze here between Jason Green and Fedor Zukic at the 3 spot. So one of those guys would come off the bench. That would be, I think, especially after the season that Jason Green had last year. That would be odd that he started last year and wouldn't start this year. But then again, that could be the genesis of, hey, look at all the talent we have. Look at all the options we have. Max loyal, but on the other hand, Max got to give. If Nick Graves is a more accomplished player and makes things go the better of the options, he's got to go with him too, because you don't want. There's always that talk out there. Well, he was a portal guy, and you don't want to go to Creighton because they're just going to sit you and keep the guys that they've already got there. That's not true at all. So it's going to be a very interesting battle here down the next 2-3 weeks, and then those 2 exhibition games are going to I think we'll get kind of a hint heading into there how things go. How do they play in those exhibition games? Maybe we find that Ty Davis comes off the bench and just is phenomenal. Maybe it's a case of, hey, we want Ty to come off the bench, gives us some more energy, or we want Jason Green to come off the bench, or Fedor for that matter. Fedor has to show that he's made progress on the defensive side of the ball. So, man, it's going to be a really interesting debate, interesting conversation, and interesting to see how each of these guys does, not only in his games, but every day in practice as we move forward and get into more 5-on-5 full court things. It's going to be that's where the real competition is going to be, the day-to-day practices and so forth. So just a really exciting time for Creighton men's basketball. And, again, we don't have a lot of time to ease into our schedule once we start, because we play South Dakota, a decent team out of the Summit, and then, boom, right, we got to go to Gonzaga. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all gels and forms and so forth. Head up to everybody, so make sure if you plan to go to Vegas, it's a little different schedule this year. We're going to play Monday and Tuesday, I think, at 1 o'clock Omaha time, so that'd be like 11 a.m. Vegas time. So plan accordingly with your flights and so on and so forth. It's probably, I think there's a super early flight out of Omaha that gets into Vegas really early, like 8 o'clock. So you could fly in on a Monday if you wanted to. Monday, Tuesday, then we don't know what we play a Wednesday or Thursday. But it won't be the stretched out what it was last year, when I think we played on Tuesday and then played another game like Friday or Saturday. It was so stretched out. It was Saturday, I think the game was. So it's just so stretched out over that long period of time. This time it's much more condensed. Also, the games are not at MGM. I can't stress that enough, because a lot of people are confused about that. I thought MGM was a great venue, but I think you have those 18 teams, so they've got to have more than one venue going. So our games are going to be at Mandalay. So if that screws up your plan to stay in an MGM, I think Mandalay is an MGM property, but all along the strip there in those 4 corners, I think the team is staying at Park MGM, which is down a little bit across Tropicana. It's down to the north a little bit. Not too far. It's walking distance, but it's not too far. But in that corner, you have MGM. You can go across the street, and then you have Excalibur, Luxor, and then Mandalay. There is a train that runs from Excalibur over to Mandalay. So all you got to do is walk across the street, jump on the train, boom, it takes you all the way down there. The other cool thing is if you stayed in Luxor, you can walk to Mandalay to the games. So that's kind of a cool concept too. Because Creighton has played over there before. I think that's where they played with when we played BYU in Arizona State that year. When Calk had mono, missed those games. That's where we played those games. So it's an easy walk. It's you can walk right inside. You don't even have to go outside. So you can walk from Luxor over to Mandalay. So any of those properties in there are great to stay in. MGM, New York, Excalibur, any of those over in there. All easy access to the arena. So we hope to see a lot of Jays fans there. I know it's tough. I know people don't like to always be gone for Thanksgiving. I totally get that. But, you could come to the Monday, Tuesday games and go home. So we really need a good showing in Vegas this year. We haven't played well there over the years, and we need to get off to a good start, especially with the high level of competition that we're going to have with Iowa State and Baylor. So, as I said, we're going to dive into more of those things. We'll have another random J of the week. If you haven't seen those episodes, go back, check them out. I think, in looking at the viewership, they're down a little bit from our other ones. I think if you're a Jays fan of any length, you're really going to enjoy those shows, because once the contestants, somebody picks the right player, we have a discussion about that era, and it's a lot of fun to talk about players and eras past and so on and so forth. It's just in this century, though. It's just players from 2000 to 2025. So check out those episodes as well. We still have the Coach Lutz episode. We're doing a feature now on past Creighton assistants who are now head coaches. So we had Coach Lutz. We're hoping to effort Coach Miller this week. He's got Missouri Valley Conference Media Days kickoff today. So we hope to talk to Coach Miller at some point as well this week, and then also hook up with Coach DeVries at some point, the new head basketball coach in Indiana. All right, so I hope you enjoy the beautiful weather. Get out and enjoy it. It's fabulous. And again, as we said, women's soccer at home this week. Going to be great. Posted some pictures, by the way, on X a few days ago. So check those out of the new soccer facility, or new softball facility. We're also going to get a check-in on the baseball team, how their fall workouts are going too soon. And as we promised a few weeks ago, we're going to get Debbie on here from the women's golf team to just, we don't talk much about golf, but golf has really shot up as far as their level of competition and their level of effectiveness. And I was very impressed at a women's golf outing earlier this summer. The impressive nature of some of these players and their talent. So we'll bring Debbie on to see how things are going with the women's golf team as they have fall meets, and then obviously into the spring when it really gets cranked up. Okay, want to thank everybody. Thank our sponsor, Infusion Brewing, and also I mentioned RTI Threads down the road here. More to come on them. Really appreciate everyone, and thanks. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.